One of the great things about being on YouTube is that we get to exchange ideas under the corporate radar of Google, and that's what I really like, sort of being subversive below the surface, and almost being invisible and just thinking out loud. It's really wonderful. One of the people I've really appreciated, there are a couple of people who send me long, informative personal messages, and Pangeaprogress has done that, and he is brilliant. I don't know who he is, but he is a brilliant person, and he sent me one in response to my latest video, Science and Religion, and it is so eloquent that I just kind of want to read it out loud, and I won't do it justice, but it's so good that I don't want to just keep it for myself. And it sort of explains the complexity, I think, of this. I'm going to post this as a response to Thou Art That, to Matt's video response to me, because I think it says it a lot better than I ever could. I'm reading now from Pangeaprogress's personal message. I think, like you, the table of knowledge is big enough for literature and science. There is this tension between those who emphasize literature and those who highlight science. Literature is not the problem unless it is dogmatic literature that poses an obstacle to scientific inquiry and curiosity. I think the literature community feels threatened by the scientific community as being judged as not relevant or superfluous, and the scientific community feels literature at times muddies the water to make it seem deep, as Nietzsche opined. For me, I think we can eat from both of those fruits without becoming an us versus them dichotomy. The appetite for knowledge should be diverse and not limited by one genre. I think what could be a part of the problematic communication is the emphasis and what one highlights. This thrust of emphasis does not cover the deep ambiguities, but I think Aaron Ra is doing a necessary work. The problem with creationism is that it denies human mortality, fragility, and our deep connection to the earth. The problem with scientism is that it can be a means to be smug about reality and acquire a false sense of comfort and deny the existential anxiety, the human condition. I do not put Professor Anton or Aaron Ra in these, but there is a line of tension there. There are many ways to view the circle, and what we highlight is part of the conversation. One of the ironies of the creative process is that it partly cripples itself in order to function. I mean that usually in order to turn out a piece of work, the author has to exaggerate the emphasis of it, to oppose it in a forceful, competitive way to other versions of the truth. And he gets carried away by his own exaggeration as his distinctive image is built on it. The problem is to find the truth underneath the exaggeration. That is a quote from Ernest Becker. It is not a right and wrong or black and white issue, but rather a difference of what one highlights. Pathos is a variable that impacts what you underline. Let me paint a picture for you. Religious dogma is a thick sheet of ice, and the person is trapped underneath it. To use a quote from Kafka, it sometimes takes an axe to break the frozen sea. I see the new atheism as an axe that for some it is the only instrument to break the sheet of ice and allow some fresh air of reason and scientific wonder. For those individuals, the new atheism was a necessary good. I think religious liberals feel that their thin ice of religion is being attacked by that axe, and it seems superfluous. I think that is a misunderstanding. The new atheism is more beneficial for the thick ice, not the thin. For some people, they don't even realize that there is a world beyond the ice sheet. And for those people, I see the new atheism as a benefit. Now, that doesn't mean it is completely without fault. There could be problems with the style and delivery that turn people off or make them go deeper into dogma. Perhaps a more indirect approach of wonder and skepticism is better to thaw the ice instead of break it into a blunt instrument. A warmth of intellectual stimulation would be better to thaw the ice of dogma for some. For a large number of people in the world, religion is a real influence in life that takes on many forms that are not always soft or benign. Religion often gets in the way of a child's full potential to education and greater vision. For this reason alone, I cannot view religion as something to behold in passive appreciation. There are other foes to contend with, such as racism, nationalism, ethnocentrism, fascism, and many other isms. So it should be acknowledged that there are many variables to the problem in the world, and humans with or without religion have a will to power that needs to be checked by the persistent voice of reason. Wow, wonderful, great stuff. I'm not going to add anything to this except to say God, thank you so much. This is exactly why I'm on YouTube. Thank you. Pangeaprogress. Thanks. Take care, guys.